This is kind of like a prayer going out to all the peeps close to me and dear to me, the ones that's been there for my whole life, the ones that came later in my life. Yeah, I appreciate all the blessings God has given me, and I want to repay it to you like this. Clap your hands. Everybody clap your hands. Introducing. This is the joint where we give shout outs to all the peeps, you know what I'm saying? You know we couldn't do this joint without spreading some love to the ones. Yo, check it, Leah. If I just ruled the world, I would give y'all everything.
Two events on Saturday, a Christian conference in Washington, and then a rally in Philadelphia. And here are some of his more notable remarks.
The whole thing was they wanted, the Roe v. Wade was federal, and they wanted it all back in the states where the people could vote and make their decisions. It's now up to the will of the people in each state. Some states will.
All right, Trump, he's, bit by bit, day by day, and he's given up a lot of what he, plans on doing, because obviously Project 2025 is a whopper, right? On a simpleton level, a lot of archaic, erratic, just crazy things, oversimplified ideas that would rip the government apart in Project 2025, including the protections that the government provides individuals that will be removed, right? But he even finds a way day by day to inch up to explaining even more of his rationale.
Be more conservative. Other states will be more liberal. It's happening now. You see the votes are all taking place. And it's the way every legal scholar and just about all the Democrats and all the Republicans and conservatives and liberals, they all wanted it that way. And we did something that was amazing. Christians go to church, but they don't vote that much. Do you know the power you have if you would vote? It wouldn't even be. So you got to get out and vote. Just this time, I don't care. In 4 years, you don't have to vote, okay? In 4 years, don't vote. I don't care. But we'll have it all straightened out. My stupid people, when I wanted to refute it, they said, sir, don't dignify it with a refutal. Refutal or a refutal? What the hell word would that be? Refutal? What they'll say, he didn't know, refutal or refutal, but they don't know either. We have to get out there. We have to vote. We have to make sure everything's honest. And you keep your eyes open. You're the police in a way. You can police your vote.
You see that right there? He's under a lot of stress right now. So he's now suggesting that you can police your vote. What he means is disrupt. He means disrupt the election. If you got to vote and you don't know how nothing works because you never voted before, or you don't want to pick up the pamphlet and read how voting works, or if you don't want to go to your local municipality and read their website about voting, right, how the process works, then you should just create a muck right there instantly on the set, and just do anything. Police your vote. You know what I'm saying? Police it. Like, what the hell does police your vote mean? Obviously, this man knows he's going to lose. He feels he's going to lose. And so now he's going to start pivoting even harder towards the disruption and the chaos and the attacking the full-fledged civil war, because Donald Trump appears as if he doesn't know how to stop until he is stopped himself. He doesn't know how to get out of this jam. He's looking for a way, and it just ain't happening.
People don't know that. Just make sure that vote counts. We have to make sure it counts. I told Dana White of UFC, I said, here's what we're going to do. These are tough cookies coming into our country, coming with prisons and mental institutions. I said, Dana, I have an idea for you to make a lot of money. You're going to go and start a new migrant fight league. Migrants, only migrants. And then
you see, he can't stop. He can't stop. It's just one bad idea on top of another bad idea on top of another bad idea. He never comes with anything halfway reasonable to where as if you want to work with him across the line. There's nothing to work on because there's nothing there in the first place. Who the heck needs Dana White? I mean, you would have to be the last person to need Dana White to actually co-sign for you. I mean, but that's who Trump has right now. Dana White, Hulk Hogan. Those don't look like the type of persons anybody needs to speak on issues of the everyday person. The United States of America is not the MMA fighting world. It is not the UFC. It is not the WBA boxing. This is not Don King. You can't send Don King in to run the United States of America. No, boxing and fighting, it's a sport, but there's a lot of show in it, meaning a lot of underhanded things going on, a lot of other things that athletes don't anticipate before they sign up. Listen to some of the athletes complain about the contracts. I mean, but in any case, this ain't the private sector. This is the public sector.
And at the end of the year, the champion migrant is going to fight your champion. And I hate to tell you, Dana, I think the migrant might win. That's how tough they are. We saved the world from those forts, and now they decide to take the names off. And wait till you see ultimately what happens with those names. They did, I call it a transition, like transitioning. They have a transition name before they name it. The Reverend Al Sharpton Fort. Fort Al Sharpton. Now you can just imagine.
This is a man who has nothing to tell his audience. There's absolutely nothing that Donald Trump is going to offer his audience of substance related to his plans to make your life better. None of it. It's just how dumb and stupid any other liberal is.
You can just imagine, but this is a transition. They've done a couple of transitions. These people they're sick.
Sick? They're sick. No, they don't like losers. They don't like losers, Donald. I know you like losers. You like losing. You've lost 7 years in a row. I don't know if you know, but because of you, your party lost in 2017. Your party lost in 2018. Your party lost in 2019. Your party lost in 2020. Your party lost in 2021. Your party lost in 2022. Your party lost in 2023. If the past is prologue, your party's going to lose in 2024. So, yeah, there are a lot of people in the South, Southerners like myself. We don't really like naming forts after losers. That's not transitioning. That's like we want to name forts after American patriots who win wars. Donald, maybe you should see the beginning of Patton, where George.
It's interesting how, how deep people go in and how they relate politics, their current politics to history. And you can hear that this guy is a Southern man. He sees himself as a Southern man. That's how he identifies somewhat, not explicitly and only a Southern man, but he just threw that out there. And often when you hear Northerners and Southerners, they relate back to the Civil War, right? But what's crazy is that I don't know. I'm pretty sure I haven't looked into this guy's background or anything, and I'm not suggesting he's not American. To me, it's like if you're born in there, if you're born in the U.S., you grew up in the U.S., for me, that's typically good enough. Everything else is just is even better. Your expertise, your friendship, your sociability, your desire to see everybody do good. That's what matters to me ultimately, right? A fair opportunity. But when you look at U.S. politics, it often, in the rhetoric, you hear this kind of North and Southern thing and Union and Confederate thing, and it's interesting how he taps into that and, in subtle ways. But everybody taps into it in their own way. But what's crazy is that I never really tapped into it myself I did in some bad ways as a younger person, Northerners and Southerners, country and city folk, this kind of stuff. But once you get exposed to all these things, then it doesn't work anymore. So it's interesting. That's why I bring that up, because just because you're American yourself and you have your own wavelength doesn't mean that another American doesn't have a slightly different wavelength on this or connect on it in a slightly different way.
C. Scott stands in front of an American flag and says Americans don't want and won't abide losers. They want winners. And so, yeah, we don't want some loser who tried to overthrow the federal government so slavery could continue another 100 years or so. We like winners. I say that as a Southerner. Okay.
Yo, that is a very you hear that? I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying I don't agree with him, but it's interesting because it seems like now it's calling a lot of people out to this, to what he just said, freedom versus slavery. And more things. The flag. What is the meaning behind the flag? And the importance and the relevance about the flag. I mean, it's getting there. Next thing you know, Donnie, then we're going to be talking about gun rights, right? And all of the things. It's all there for people to vote on right now. It's going to be interesting. 100 days.
Alabama Crimson Tide. I mean, is DeBoer going to be as good as Saban? I don't know, but if he's not, they'll fire him. Because that's how we think in the South. That's how we think in America. So yeah, you want to name forts after losers, after Confederate soldiers, Confederate generals that rebelled against the United States of America? That's you.
Yep. I don't want to. There's plenty of other things that money could go to, like reparations, services, social services, or, tax deductions, student loan debt being wiped clean, access to fair and equal housing, medical care, right? Also education, just access to education, access to technical schools. I mean, do you really need money to go to a technical school? Should you have the money, and how should the rules and regulations be set up? Are they set up so in the same ways our partners and allies set it up? Can anyone just walk in there, sign up, just like they do the military, and say, I want to take this exam, or I want to do this and be a part of this program? Or do you have to go find the money, take a little loan, $15,000? Is that how much these things cost? I wonder today. I got to look more into the certifications and the different industries in the U.S. But what is it? Tell me how much something, that your common technical school might cost an individual to attend.
Now, I'll take a Fort Sharpton. It sounds nice.
I like it.
It sounds nice about an America, about a military moving toward a more perfect union and not stuck in its slaveholding past. Like poor Donald there wants us to be stuck.
At least they're having a conversation about the real. I mean, this guy is not running away from the fact that the United States was founded. That's part of one of the key elements in the founding of the United States is slavery, human trafficking, human bodies being owned by other people. It's interesting that he's willing to talk about this, In
the mid 1800s.
Well, I think that one of the things that comes to mind is, of course, he's playing to a crowd that clearly is against some of the things that I've represented, civil rights and other things. But the fact of the matter is he's also revealing himself. Most military bases are named after people who served in the military. And the one thing that he and I have in common is neither one of us served in the military. So he didn't have to be president 4 years. He would know by now what military bases are for. But he also showing to say that we should not take military generals or military people off of naming our military bases, as you've just talked about, Joe. it shows how he embraces Confederates being preserved as something that taxpayers of all races are paying for. Let's remember when we had the marches.
Can you believe this? Can you believe this? This is still being litigated on some level. I don't believe it's on the federal level anymore, or maybe there still is some new litigation, some new laws coming in or being ratified regarding this kind of thing, the removal of Confederate statues, Confederate flags, not in a historical context, like not from the museums, but from this public space where taxpayers, openly have to just see this,
Blacks and Jews together in Charlottesville for the removal of Robert E. Lee, the Confederate general statue. And people were killed. One lady was killed. It was Trump that said there were fine people on both sides. So he reminds us of his embrace of that. And to take it a step further, in the collage of quotes you showed or statements he made over the weekend, he now is openly saying that women's rights ought to be done by states' rights. The whole civil rights movement was to get away from states' rights and have the federal government protect our civil rights. Now he's saying women's rights should be dealt with state by state, which was exactly the template of segregation and something the civil rights movement and now the women's rights. The other thing that was so callous about it is he said that he called to tell the UFC they should make money using these migrants to fight each other, make the money, and then he wants to deport them. I mean, if that's not exploiting people,
that's even human trafficking. What's up with this guy? That is so, the fact that he would suggest that. The question should be, where did he get these ideas from? I doubt very seriously myself, it's just my opinion, that Trump has never heard someone else say the same thing. I doubt little of what he says comes from his own mind. You see, so I think people should take his word up on that.
That is seeking a better life in their weakest hour. This is his proposition. Let's use them. Let's fight each other. The winner can fight our champion. But these are tough guys, all for exploiting, making money. He said to her, you can make a lot of money off of this.
Exploiting and making money. You see, slavery.
It's like you can make money off these people. At the same time, he tells the Christian crowd, you Christians don't vote enough, which is absurd on its face, but
yeah, what Christians is he talking about? How does he know? Where's he getting that data from? You Christians don't vote enough.
Is now tantamount to voting, is that you must vote for him to confirm your Christianity. It should have been insulting.
Again, if Joe Biden said this to any audience, ... you know how it goes.
Here's what Donald Trump says about your freedom. After 50 years of failure, with nobody coming even close, I was able to kill Roe v. Wade. 2 years ago, the Supreme Court justices that Trump handpicked helped overturn Roe v. Wade.
Never before has the court granted and then taken away a widely recognized constitutional right.
New laws banning abortion are taking effect.
Decades of progress shattered just because the last guy got 4 years in the White House. We know what will happen if he gets another 4. For MAGA Republicans, Roe is just the beginning. They're going to try to ban the right to choose nationwide. They're coming for IVF and birth control next.
And he's already introduced a new term called police your vote. Trump introduced a term called police your vote. Like, what the hell does that mean? He will, you can pretty much be sure. I mean, who knows? Again, it's just my opinion, but the guy knows he's going to lose, and he's pretty much, his only way out of it is he doesn't know any way out. So he's going to incite another riot. It appears to be. So he did it the first time. He's going to do it again. That he was allowed to do it the first time. So that's his only out. So expect more. Look.
Against extremism. Send me back to the White House and I'll fight like hell to restore Roe v. Wade and protect American freedom.
That was an exclusive first look at the Biden campaign's new message on the 2-year anniversary of the fall of Roe. To mark this day, I sat down for an exclusive interview with Vice President Kamala Harris, who has been the administration's leading voice on this issue, as well as a young woman by the name of Hadley Duvall. Hadley, as you may recall, was the subject of a powerful campaign ad last year from Kentucky's Democratic Governor Andy Beshear, featuring her story as a sexual abuse survivor.
I was raped by my stepfather after years of sexual abuse. I was 12. Anyone who believes there should be no exceptions for rape and incest could never understand what it's like to stand in my shoes. This is to you, Daniel Cameron. To tell a 12-year-old girl she must have the baby of her stepfather who raped her is unthinkable. I'm speaking out because women and girls need to have options. Daniel Cameron would give us none.
So that ad is credited with playing a role in Governor Beshear winning re-election in one of the most conservative states in the country. Now, Hadley is speaking out on behalf of the Biden campaign in defense of abortion rights. And here is our discussion. This is your first national media interview.
Yes.
And given what's at stake today, can you tell people what you want them to take away from, to know about your personal and deeply painful story, and why it's so relevant to women today?
Women today, if they're walking in the shoes that I was in, which was pregnancy from rape, then, you know, they don't have any option in a lot of states, and they're at risk for having no options after the election, you know, and that's, you know, very terrifying. And still,
all right, so you can see obviously things have changed since 1 month back, right? Now Biden is no longer the candidate, it's Harris. But in any case, it goes down the same lines. I mean, everyone knows where it's going to go. Yo, check this out. Let me see something here. 2 seconds. Right. What? Wait a second. This is it right here, y'all. I'm sorry. It's this one. It's this dude Vance. It's this dude Vance. Yo, this is the most ridiculous stuff. This is just ridiculous. But in any case, this is Ben Marsalis. About to break down these audio leaks and some of the comments. I don't know if you do this, but apparently J.D. Vance is not the man he claims to be, and has had relationships, you could say, that are pro LGBTQ, right? You could say that. Yet he's at a MAGA, running as vice president of MAGA, right? And I think all these audio tapes and people that know him bringing all this stuff up is ripping him apart. Let's see here.
J.D. Vance.
This is Trump's boy.
Vance's descent into this total meltdown. It's like every day we wake up and we're like, what's going to happen next? What are we going to learn about Shady Vance? Is there going to be some secret audio recording that's going to emerge? And usually the answer is yes. Breaking news. We now have secret audio recording from Shady Vance. And here's how we recorded it on Midas Touch. Vance projects weakness at a private fundraiser. So J.D. Vance just attended a private fundraiser and told donors that running against Vice President Kamala Harris has been like a political sucker punch to him and Donald Trump. And this leaked audio completely contradicts what the Trump And this leaked audio completely contradicts what the Trump campaign is trying to project with strength and all of the really despicable things they're saying about Vice President Kamala Harris. Let me play for you some of this secret audio recording that was taken at the fundraiser. You could hear J.D. Vance for yourself. Play this clip.
All of us were hit with a little bit of a political sucker punch. The bad news is that Kamala Harris does not have the same baggage as Joe Biden because whatever we might say, Kamala Harris is a lot younger, and Kamala Harris is obviously not struggling in the same ways that Joe Biden.
And now I want to play for you another audio clip from a fundraiser with J.D. Vance as well, where he basically says, you could give me a standing ovation, but ultimately, what if I'm an asshole? I mean, so he the guy's just a jerk and a weirdo cosplaying WWE fascism. Here, play this clip.
It's very kind of you to give me a standing ovation, but you ought to wait for me to say what I'm going to say, right? You might hear what I have to say and think I'm an asshole. You can't take my language.
And did you hear what he said? Just to be clear, he said, it's very kind of you to give me a standing ovation, but y'all wait. You might hear what I have to say and think that I'm an asshole. No, we just think that you're weird. I know you want to act like you're strong, but no, you are a weirdo. That's what people see. I mean, by the way, you know, more posts from J.D. Vance are emerging like this one where J.D. Vance goes, the cat ladies, man, they must be stopped. And obviously, we've reported previously on J.D. Vance Googling woman gets violated by a dolphin and enjoys it. You can see the bold words. This is real. This is fact check true. J.D. Vance searching these things. And J.D. Vance goes, maybe the internet was a mistake. He posted this in February. This was recent when J.D. Vance posted woman gets violated by dolphin and enjoys it. Very, very odd behavior. Also, more breaking news, more photos emerging of J.D. Vance. Here, J.D. Vance wears a shirt with a hammer and a sickle. He's wearing communist paraphernalia, and this is one of the prior iterations of J.D. Vance's identity. This was his college phase. He had multiple phases. He's changed his name several times. Also, during that college phase, J.D. Vance had told his friends, quote, that he hates the police. And he repeated that over and over again. That's new news that broke as well. Also, we know that J.D. Vance recently wrote the foreword in the book by the author of Project 2025 called Burning Down Washington to Save America. So as Trump and MAGA are trying to distance themselves from Project 2025, they are Project 2025. That's exactly who they are. As Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign account posted, this was a Washington Post headline, Trump and J.D. Vance seem ready to offend as many women voters as possible. And Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign goes, weird strategy, but okay. All right, let me show you this as well.
Damn.
This is from Newsmax right here. And here on Newsmax, they are going over the fact that J.D. Vance and Trump are being called weird by Democrats and others in the pro-democracy movement. Here, play this clip.
Using that term weird, by the way, we continue to point that out. Kamala HQ, that's her campaign on X, just put out 3 minutes ago a quote from J.D. Vance of him saying, I certainly would like abortion to be illegal nationally, unquote, from J.D. Vance. They quoted him on that, the Harris campaign, and calling it, this is weird behavior. Weird, weird, weird. Everything about, again, Vance is weird.
It's a lot of weird stuff, though. It is weird.
Vance actually have a problem, and then...
Because, look, first of all, Vance is not even a woman, right? And so the fact that he's speaking about something that generally is seen as a woman's thing, reproduction, reproductive health, right? And although men have it also themselves, it's odd to hear men talking about it in terms of, from perspective of being against it regarding women specifically. It's kind of weird.
And how about the campaigning using that term weird for Republicans?
Well, all of that's going on. RNC co-chair Lara Trump compares Vice President Kamala Harris to a designer handbag and then describes her as a trash bag. Here, play this clip.
John, you're exactly right. Because look, I think we've very clearly seen the mainstream media and the folks out there are not going to do it for us. In fact, they're trying to rewrite history. It's been incredible to see the way they have tried to prop up Kamala Harris and really sell her as some sort of this amazing political figure to the American people. It reminds me of, there was this bag that a very famous designer designed. This was several years ago. And it literally,
they make it sound like that's not what political parties do. I mean, in general, look at their candidate, Trump. Are they not trying to put him out to the public like he's some sort of hero? I mean, I think so. So I don't get it. It's nothing of substance. It's almost like if you don't lay down and, beg for forgiveness, you're wrong if you don't do that. Get down, liberal, get down, Democrat, beg for forgiveness, and it's like, so that's supposed to be an option. They really have a strange way of projecting a lot of this.
Really was a trash bag, but they sold this famous designer to the American people. It reminds me of, there was this bag that a very famous designer designed. This was several years ago, and it literally was a trash bag, but they sold this thing for like $2,000, thinking that people would actually buy it. It's a similar situation with.
You hear how hateful that is? There's so much hate that it shows you how desperate they feel they are, because these are usually things that come out when there's no turning back, basically. You see, this is really, really horrible things.
Kamala Harris.
As Brooke Binkowski writes, so the people who compare human beings to handbags are mad at being called weird. LMA.
And that is the gist of it, actually. Yes, they are. And so, this is going to be their strategy, because Trump don't want no debate with Kamala Harris, essentially. He's running from that and going to slip and slide as much as possible. But here, let's check this. Let me see. Where's Trump on this issue here? I think it's right here.
Would manage to show up. And here's what he said when she pressed him on this issue.
I want to do a debate, but I also can say this. Everybody knows who I am, and now people know who she is. She's a radical left lunatic. She'll destroy our country. She wants open borders.
Why not debate her?
Well, wait. But because they already know everything.
But why not debate her? Oh, wait. That's so interesting. Look.
But I also can say this. Everybody knows who I am, and now people know who she is. She's a radical left lunatic. She'll destroy our country. She wants open borders.
Why not debate her?
Well, wait.
We'll wait.
Because they already know everything.
They already know everything.
Because they already know everything. What's the point of debating when the American people clearly know both candidates? Not like Joe Biden, who's been president for nearly 4 years. Apparently, nobody knew him, and that's why Trump was so eager to debate him not once, but as many times as Biden would agree to. That must be why, and has nothing to do with the fact that Biden was a bad debater, but that Kamala will wipe the floor with Trump.
Exactly. Did you get his rationale? Listen, let me read. He's exactly right. Check this. He is exactly right. Hold on, but he said it so fast. Here, check it.
Because they already know everything. What's the point of debating when the American people clearly know both candidates? Not like Joe Biden, who's been president for nearly 4 years. Apparently, nobody knew him, and that's why Trump was so eager to debate him not once, but as many times as Biden would agree to.
But because they already know everything. She's a radical left lunatic. She'll destroy our country. She wants open borders.
Why not debate her?
Well, wait. But because they already know everything.
Because they already know everything. What's the point of debating when the American people clearly know both candidates? Not like Joe Biden, who's been president for nearly 4 years. Apparently, nobody knew him, and that's why Trump was so eager to debate him not once, but as many times as Biden would agree to. That must be why. And has nothing to do with the fact that Biden was a bad debater, but that Kamala will wipe the floor with Trump.
Yo, that's a lot of manipulation to have to go through and explain and turn on its head, you know? It's crazy, but he did it. He did this, you know?
Got it. And let's be clear, Kamala clearly smells blood in the water. Here's just a few of her comments on this matter.
You really get in people. So with that being said, you think Donald Trump is afraid to debate you?
He should be.
Previously agreed upon September 10th.
Damn.
Really get in people. So with that being said, you think Donald Trump is afraid to debate you?
He should be.
Donald Trump is afraid to debate. Really get in people. So with that being said, you think Donald Trump is afraid to debate you?
He should be.
Previously agreed upon September 10th debate. He agreed to that previously. Now it appears he's backpedaling, but I'm ready. And I think the voters deserve to see the split screen that exists in this race on a debate stage. And so I'm ready. Let's go.
At this point, Trump running from Kamala is almost as good as the debate itself because it puts on full display how afraid of her he actually is. And it's not just a 24 or 48 hour news cycle at this point, like an actual debate would be. Now we get to talk about it every single day because Donald Trump himself is keeping it going by betraying just how scared he actually is. I mean, look, I'm not here to give free campaign advice to Donald Trump, but waffling and backpedaling is only prolonging the pain. It's only lengthening this news cycle. If you just came out and agreed, then no one would talk about it at least until September. But now we talk about it every single day because the fear that he displays is so palpable and you don't know how to hide it, Donald. But hey, no complaints here. But it actually gets worse because Trump isn't just getting hit on being too afraid to debate Kamala. Rather, his entire bit is being exposed. This guy's whole political identity is predicated on how tough he is, how strong, how he's a winner, how he's a fighter. And yet, when faced with the opportunity to actually back up what he says with actions, suddenly it's crickets from the tough guy leading the GOP. The landscape looks like right now.
And you know how I know this? Because he's afraid to debate her now. Do you see that? And it's not just because she's a skilled debater and a courtroom prosecutor who knows how to make the case. He's afraid to debate her because he can't defend his record. He's afraid to debate her because she knows the truth about how he failed as a president when he had the keys to the White House 4 years ago.
The last debate, Martha, happened when both candidates were not their confirmed nominee either. So what has changed is my question. I think the obvious answer is Donald Trump is afraid. He's afraid of this change. He's acting like it. Listen, I'm a combat veteran. I know fear and fatigue when I see it. And he's acting tired and he's acting afraid here. You know, someone needs to wake him up. And I know he has a hard time staying awake. You know, he fell asleep repeatedly at his own nominating convention. He fell asleep repeatedly at his own criminal trial. Someone needs to wake him up and let him know the next generation of American leadership is here and it's on.
I look at this race right now and I don't see a world in which Donald Trump mans up and debates Kamala Harris. The felon is not going to debate the prosecutor. That's just not going to happen. When the question comes around about his 34 felony convictions, what do you think she going to do? I mean, really? You want to walk into that buzzsaw in the conversation?
It's actually a pattern, right? They seem very afraid of debating Kamala Harris, whether she was going to be the VP or the nominee at the top of the ticket, right? JD Vance also